Hey, girlfriends, and welcome back to the channel. I hope you all are doing extraordinarily well. And I know y'all are saying, I know you lying, sis, because we haven't seen your face in several months now. What's been going on? Well, that's what this video is all about today. We're going to catch up. I'm going to give you some updates on what's been going on because life has been lifing for me, as I'm sure it's been doing with you all. There's been some changes that I want to share. And so this is the video where we all get on the same page. And I reintroduce myself once again to the YouTube community for the benefit of both new and old subscribers. My name is Stacey Paulin. I am a semi-retired physician assistant working diligently to put myself back at the top of my to-do list where I belong, all while preparing to realize a dream of moving abroad and becoming a global citizen. So back in September of 2024 was the last video I made for this channel. It's time, y'all. It just goes and goes, doesn't it? Time is flying by. That's why we have to grab it while we can. And I certainly have been very, very busy doing work, but also fun work that's moving me toward my goal. In September, I still doing clinical work. And the first major thing that happened that took me away was preparation for my scouting trip. So I did indeed take my scouting trip in October, November of 2024. I'm not yet prepared to tell you all where I went. I will definitely announce that at a later date. But I had a wonderful time. And the video that I'm going to make immediately after this video is going to be a detailed video about that scouting trip. I was gone for almost a month. Wonderful time. I went in, saw all I could see, did all I could do, took my notes. And again, I'll go into full detail about the entire trip in an upcoming video, so stay tuned for that. When I came back, end of November, holiday season is coming along, and it's just a lot of hustle and bustle with Christmas and Thanksgiving. And so I had to deal with that, but I knew that it was time for me to think about downsizing. As you can see behind me, I'm in a different location than I was in the videos in early and mid 2024. So I have relocated to a home that I own. Prior to moving here, I had tenants here. I gave them notice, told them I would be, I let my property manager take care of all of the details of that. But he let them know that I was going to be taking possession of the home. They were able to vacate the property, and I came in shortly thereafter. And of course, when I came in, the next thing to do was a lot of renovating, a lot of cleaning, a lot of preparing, a lot of building, everything. So many things had to be done and still have to be done. I look around and I'm not even close to having this house completely done the way that I want to. It's not a priority for me to turn this into a palace, but certainly I want it to be the way I want it to be. This is my new home. This is my home here in the US. It was important because you know how rents are now, astronomical. It doesn't matter where you live. It doesn't matter where you go. You're paying a pretty penny to live in a decent neighborhood, in a decent home. And so I said immediately when I got back, one of the smartest things you can do is downsize. Where can I downsize? I can't just go rent another place. I'll be paying just as much as I was or even more. And I said, why don't you just take possession of the rental property? It's in a great location, easy to get to the freeway, easily accessible to the clinics that you serve, the communities that you serve. Just do it. And a little bit of convincing was necessary for me to make that leap because I felt bad about having to let my tenants know, who, by the way, have been in this home since the day I bought it, that I was going to have to ask them to leave. They took decent care of the property. I never had an issue with them, and that guilt is real. So I took the advice that I was given, and I'm so glad that I did. I mean, I'm saving a ton of money. And knowing that I'm going to be moving abroad, I need to have the smallest footprint here. So I had to totally renovate the kitchen. I did it all by myself. Painted the interior of the house, did that all by myself. Furnished this place, built some furniture by myself. These are not new endeavors for me. I've done this a couple of times in homes that I've lived in the past. And so it's a labor of love, and it has been a labor of love. And here I am. This is my home here in the US. And so that took me through December and in the beginning of January. By the time I got to mid-January, I was ready to throw a hammer through the wall. Okay. I was tired, tired. I didn't want to see a drill. I didn't want to see a screwdriver. I didn't want to see a measuring tape. I didn't want to go to Home Depot or Lowe's anymore. I said, I need a break. So I took a little bit of a break, pulled back a little bit in my work. So I just wanted to rest. I just wanted to rest and settle into this place. And then in February, I took my first ski trip of the season. Many of you know, some of you may not know, that I'm an avid skier. I love skiing. I took a trip to Lake Tahoe in February and skied heavenly for the first time, and I had a ball. It was so wonderful. Yes, I went by myself. Yes, I had an amazing time. The time I had was so amazing, I stayed an extra day just to get an extra day of skiing in. And it was so wonderful. It was just what I needed. I needed to get out of this house. I needed to be on the slopes. I needed that time alone. I needed just to have fun. And that's exactly what happened in Heavenly. So I got back. I was there for 5 days. I got back, went back to clinical work, and just living my life, doing the things that I always do, going to the gym. Y'all know I'm a gym head. And just resting, really focusing on resting and doing the things that I want to do when I want to do them, which is a privilege, a beautiful privilege. So yeah, I did that. Then I got to the point where I needed to start the next half of the visa process. I started the visa process for where I'll be moving in 2024. The visa that I'm going to be obtaining is a two-part process. So I had to do the first part. I got confirmation that the first part was done in about mid to late January, early February, somewhere around there. And so when I got back from my trip, I went ahead and began preparation for the second latter half of the visa process. The other thing that I decided to do was also pursue second residency somewhere. So I've been thinking about what countries I want to pursue. I've been looking at a lot of different places, been considering a lot of different locations that I had not even thought of. And so I'm in the process of doing that too, because I would love to have permanent residency in more than one place outside of the United States. So I've spent some time doing that while I was away from YouTube. In February, also, when I came back from my trip in Heavenly, I said, well, I like the semi-retired life. I'm not quite ready yet to dip out of healthcare altogether. I'm not quite there yet. And so I said, well, let's start the job hunt and let's see what I can find that I can work virtually. The first thing that I did last year when I realized that that this was the time for me to move forward and pursue moving abroad, establishing a residence outside of the United States, I knew that in order to fund that life, I would need to expand my licensure. I'm licensed here, obviously, in the state of Georgia, but there's so many opportunities for remote work if you have licenses in other states. So I obtained 3 licenses. I have a total, rather, of 3 licenses now, and I got those extra licenses last year. So in February, when I got back from my trip, I began searching. The statistics, I believe, from what I've read, say that it takes about a 2 to 3 month period of searching, interviewing to find a remote virtual position. If you work in healthcare like I do, you know it's a very different type of search for us because we have to be licensed in the place where our patients are. And if you're not licensed there, you can't work there. And then there's some remote and virtual positions that will allow you to work from home, but you have to be in the state where the job is located. And then there's other remote positions where you have to be somewhere within the contiguous 48 states. And then there are other positions where, as long as you have a license to practice where the patients are that you'll be servicing, they don't really care where you are. So that really narrows down the search for those of us who are looking to do remote work as healthcare professionals. I'm happy to report, though, that I was able to find quite a few, and I spent about 2 months diligently applying. I mean, it was like every other day I was getting an email. Thank you for submitting your application. We appreciate your qualifications. We appreciate your years of experience. However, ... you know what comes next. And sometimes it can be a little depressing. And so I said, no, I'm just going to continue applying. I'm going to find something eventually. And I did. And then and it took me about 2 months to get that first interview. And then I was offered the job a couple of weeks thereafter. And then, as magic happens, the floodgates open. All of a sudden, there's a position, and I'm like, oh, that sounds pretty interesting. I'll apply. And then immediately they want me to interview. And then another one comes and they want me to interview. It's almost like the moment you put yourself out there and you get that first yes, everybody else wants to come and tell you yes as well. So really, really excited about that because that changes the whole dynamic of this move abroad thing for me. Not only does it make it a little bit easier for me to navigate living abroad, but it speeds up my timeline too. So that's another update. I have secured virtual work, and I'll still be able to be semi-retired, even more so, obviously, since I'll be living abroad. The cost of living is so inexpensive that if I work less than what I'm working now, I'll be perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. The other update is back in December, my mother moved to Panama. I had been working on her, literally working on her, trying to convince her for probably a year or so to think about it. I certainly didn't want her to be here and I'm outside of the country. My goal was to get my entire family out. And I succeeded with my mother. So her and her husband are peacefully and proudly living that Panama life right now. And I'm so happy for her. And I can't wait to visit her in Panama. I hear wonderful things about Panama. It is on my radar, definitely. Now that my mom is there, it's definitely on my radar in terms of secondary backup residency and citizenship. The requirements, it depends. I don't know which angle I'm going to be able to take with that, but it's in the running. It's a contender for sure. The last update I'll share with you all is goals for this channel. Videos that I've made in 2024 alluded to me offering health coaching services on this channel, and I don't think I'm interested in doing that anymore. Just to be completely honest. I love teaching. I always tell people, no matter what I'm doing, if I'm working in a clinical setting, hospital setting, I'm volunteering, I'm mentoring, whatever, if I'm dancing, if I'm, whatever it is I'm doing, I have the teacher's hat on my head. I am a teacher by nature. It's what I do. And I love teaching health. I love teaching wellness. I love teaching physical fitness. I don't necessarily think it's something that I want to take on the road with me as I prepare to move abroad. I think there are other things that I want to do. Certainly, as it pertains to my own health and wellness, I'm in it. I'm in it to win it. But I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to solicit it like I was attempting to last year on this channel. I think it'll be more of a case-by-case thing where people reach out to me and say, I'm looking for some health mentorship. I need to lose these pounds. I need to get off this diabetes medication. What can you offer me? Then I'd be, more than happy to do that. But creating a full-fledged business around it, I think I'm ready to put that down. I'm ready to put the health coaching down and just focus on the remote work that I'm going to be doing soon, which is really, really exciting work. So this channel really is just going to be about me, a healthcare professional, preparing to move abroad and sharing with you all the things step by step that I'm doing to make that happen. And at the same time, the things I'm doing in my own life to practice health and wellness. And if that inspires somebody, if that moves somebody in the right direction, if it helps someone to take that first step, I am all for that. I love helping. I'm here to help. And if certainly, if this video and if the channel thus far has been impressive to you, helpful to you, enlightening to you, please hit the subscribe button and the like button as well. Please and thank you. All right, I am going to bid you all adieu on that note, and I'll see you all in the next video where I'm going to talk in detail about my scouting trip. Ciao.